It is the first Sunday of Advent. This week, I will be looking at Isaiah 9 verses 6 through 7. It reads, "For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end, upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth even forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this." Today we know that the child spoken of in this passage is Jesus. The original recipients of this prophecy would have found much comfort from this passage, knowing that such a wonderful person would come to their rescue. This was someone in whom they could put their trust. And that is what we must do today as well. That is why I want to look closer at the sevenfold description of our Savior found in verse 6. We need to know who our Savior is. To do this, let's look at the original Hebrew. The first word is pele, translated as wonderful in English. It has the idea of being extraordinary or even hard to understand. It speaks of the wonders of God's judgment and redemption. It reminds me of how God's ways are higher than our ways. The next Hebrew word, ya'as, is counselor. It means to advise, to give counsel, or to plan. This reminds me that through life, I can go to Jesus to find counsel and advice. And he is the one who is planning every day of my life. There is nothing that is out of his control. In the original Hebrew, the word El is next, and that is translated as the God. And this speaks of the one true God, Jehovah. It also speaks of strength and power. So, Jesus is the one true God. Jesus is Jehovah, and in him we find strength and power. The next Hebrew word is gibor, translated as mighty, and this means strong and mighty. This is so true of our Savior Jesus, who has been given all power in heaven and in earth. The next Hebrew word, Av, is translated as the Father. And this speaks of God as the Father of his people, and it speaks of his benevolence and protection. It is also a term of respect and honor. Jesus is one with God the Father, and he is the head of a new people, his church. We are his children, and he's protecting us and loving us, and we, in turn, honor him and respect him. The next Hebrew word is Ead, which translates as everlasting, and this speaks of continuing forever. Jesus is God, and as God, he has always existed, and he always will exist. He is eternal and everlasting. The last Hebrew phrase is Ser Shalom, which is the Prince of Peace. Prince means the ruler of rulers, and peace speaks of completeness, soundness, quietness, tranquility, contentment, and it speaks of our friendship with God. Jesus is the ruler over all rulers. He is King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Through him and him alone will we ever find true peace. And through his sacrifice, we can find friendship with God where friendship was destroyed by our sin. This is our Jesus. This is the Savior of the world, whom God sent because of his passionate love for us.